I might as well get as many of these cranked out as I can. Let's do this. Ladies and gentlemen, Rondo of Blood. So, yeah, took me one mission, +5, +11 to story and gameplay respectively. Took about 6 hours, 7 hours, depending on how you score it. If we go by six, that left us with roughly 0.375 positives per session, per hour, which, pretty low. But regardless, yeah, this was actually better than I was expecting. This is an okay game. It's okay. I was pretty neutral on it for the most part, but yeah, this is just kind of okay. Hey. So, let's get into it. Seven story positives, 2 story negatives. Let's get into it. For a 2D game, this has some really nice brickwork. I think there's some interesting visual storytelling going on. I like the character of Maria. Yeah, and I think Patrick Sates brings an interesting level of menace to Dracula. Now, and that's pretty much it for character and presentation positives. And then there's the moments. There aren't that many cutscenes, but there are good ones. The conversation between Dracula and Annette after you defeat Death is an example. It has an interesting premise and shows that this is the first time they dabbled with full-on cutscenes. It wouldn't be until Symphony of the Night when they would really expand the storytelling, but this feels like Konami was planting the seeds. I know a lot of people say that planting the seeds was done during Soten, but I would argue that's when the sprouts started poking up. And then the GBA era is when they really started cranking out storytelling. And I suppose the PS2 era as well, but yeah. Maria's ending may be bad, but it does have the amusing escape bit. And then Richter's ending may be standard, but it's good, so it's better than the remake, honestly, but meh. We'll see if I ever review the remake. And there's only 2 story negatives that I ended up giving. The voice acting, which is kind of stilted and not that good. They were limited, so I can't be too harsh, but honestly, for the most part, it feels like the only one who was trying to do good work was Patrick Sates' Dracula. And then there's Maria's ending, which is honestly pretty bad, as the whole final conversation with Dracula feels off. I very vastly prefer the remake's confrontation. The problem with the confrontation between Maria and Dracula is it feels like he's just kind of, they just edited his speech, like they chopped out bits of his speech each and called that an ending. You know? So, yeah. There's that. So yeah, now let's just get into the gameplays. The music. Are you really surprised? Classic Konami had awesome music, and this OST is no exception. Triple positive. I really like the boss demos where you can get demos to show tips on how to defeat specific bosses. There's some good mid-mission checkpoints, some good itemization. I really like the sub-weapons and their variety. There's good boss design. The final attacks from bosses are interesting and are not punishing. There's some good level design, some excellent visual distinction, good enemy variety, good pacing, and while unlocking her is annoying, playing as Maria is actually awesome. She may be a glass cannon, something I'm usually not fond of, but in this case, her damage output is just awesome and downright cathartic. So yeah, triple positive to Maria. And I also think the branching paths are fun to discover. 17 presentation positives to the gameplay. Now let's get into some stages and bosses, shall we? Stage 1, Dinner of Flames, is a good opening level. Wyvern is a good first boss. Serpent, despite some irritations, is honestly a pretty fun boss if you know the pattern. The intro, which I chop after stage 1, is actually good at getting you warmed up for the rest of the game, and even introduces the path split. And then stage 2, God Grant Me Strength. The names I'm going with are the Richter names for the stages, by the way, in case you're wondering. So stage 2, God Grant Me Strength, is a fun and interesting level with a fun behemoth chase in the middle that can lead you to either the alternate route or towards something better. The werewolf is a challenging fight, but never unfairly so. Alternate Stage 2, Breaking Through the Front, is a fun and interesting level with an interesting level skip in the form of a ferryman. Also, Bone Golem is a fun multiple phase fight. Really like that fight. Stage 3, An Evil Prayer Summons Darkness, is fun and interesting, and having Bloody Tears be the song that plays during it is just awesome. Minotaur is a damn fun fight. Alternate Stage 3, Release from the Thirst for Blood, is a good stage with some interesting ideas, with Dogether being a fun boss, an interesting boss with great attacks, as well as Dullahan being a fun fight, even if I do think his hurt box is a bit questionable. Alternate Stage 4, Fortress of the Water Dragon, has some annoying enemies, but at the end of the day is a fun and interesting level. Carmilla is also a fun and interesting boss fight. Then there's Stage 5, The Devil Flies by Night, which is honestly a fun and interesting stage where all the real challenge is with the boss. Speaking of, death is the hardest fight in the game, but still damn fun. The boss gauntlet, that is Stage 6, Nightmare Reborn, I think is honestly really damn fun, especially considering it's not actually refights unless you've been going through the entire series. Which we weren't in this case, for the record. With Shaft himself also being a fun fight while we're on the subject. Dracula's first form may be one that they constantly have for him, but hey, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Fix it, and it can receive 2 positives. And then True Dracula is also a fun and entertaining fight. That I have no real understanding of why I hated it last time. I don't know what the hell was up with Past Alex hating on it so much. Because he gave it negatives last time, which is just wonky as hell. 41 total gameplay positives. Now let's get into the 25 negatives. The Requiem's options are just plain unacceptable. Triple negative. After the Pixel remasters, I am not, especially, I'm just not accepting it anymore. Especially considering you can literally patch in better options. There's a few frame wind-up when swinging the whip in this, and in the previous games too, admittedly. And in this one, it can cause issues and have you take damage. I also really don't like the lack of iframes. It really bites you in the ass a little too much. The lack of mid-air control has always annoyed me in Castlevania games, so that's a negative that pretty much all of them are probably going to get. The amount of damage you take, even right from the get-go, is just plain brutal. Par for the course of classic Castlevania, sure, but that's always been a complaint of mine. And speaking of, knockback. Fucking knockback. Get hit by a pit and you're dead. It isn't as bad as the NES Ninja Gaidens, but and that is the only reason that it only gets 2 negatives. Then there are several enemies that just plain annoy me with how hard they are to hit and how annoying they are, starting with frogs. Yes, seriously, they hop around all over the place and are just irritating to deal with. Ditto the Fleamen. Also, I really don't like crows, the Medusa heads, they all suck. Enemy placement is just downright cheap at times and lead to a lot of gotcha moments. Walkthroughitis is here, though nowhere near as bad as it could be, let's be real. Recruiting Maria as a playable character is not as bad as I thought it was last time, but it's only mildly annoying. Then during stage 4, there's a room that rains Fleamen on you that is riddled with spikes, and I obviously despise this room, so yeah, triple negative to that room. Then there's stage 7. Fucking stage 7. It is the worst designed level in the whole game, as it is full of bullshit jumps, obnoxious level design, and is just damn frustrating. So triple negative. With an extra fuck you to the difficulty spike nature of the level, the enemy placement in that in this level specifically, as well as that crumbling bridge opening section. Also, that fucking hallway with all the armors. Yeah, I really fucking hated stage 7 if you can't tell. Oof. Not helped by the fact that this is the stage where you fight Shaft's ghost, and I find that to be an obnoxious fight full of cheap bullshit. Shaft himself, when he was alive, fought fairer than that, you know? And then I consider the outro to be really bad. Because honestly, as good as the Death, Shaft, and Dracula fights are, they can't make up for stage 7 being an absolute shit show. So, double negative there. And then there's alternate stage 5, which cannot be accessed until after you beat the game, and that can fuck right off and die with its irritating bullshit design. So I was wrong, it was actually 30 negatives. So yeah, that's Rondo of Blood. Really, really damn short one this week. I know. I mean, the Reach video was pretty short too. But yeah, I don't have a set limit for the time frames. I just go until I'm done, you know? Until I get through the entire section. Sometimes if I have so little to say, I'll combine them. So for example, I'm not going to do separate rating videos for the XBLA and the Requiem versions of Soten, for example. That's just going to be in one chunk because there's no reason. There's no reason to split those up, in my opinion. But yeah, that's Rondo of Blood. Decent game, worth a playthrough, but not one that I think you will be coming back to anytime soon. Not one I will be coming back to anytime soon. Maybe you will, but not me. So, I'm moving on to Castlevania Symphony of the Night next. Man, I am blitzing through these. This is awesome. As I literally only have 2 rating videos left before I'm caught up. Fun fact. And then I just gotta focus on finishing up whatchamacallit? Finishing up Legend of Dragoon. And then I'll probably be taking a bit of a dark, but regardless, until next time, this is Blue Wolf Alex of the Lore Walkers signing out. Have a good one. See you next time.